Welcome into the realm of Millenia. I am your host, the Millenian Mailman. I'm already hating my intro. I'm already hating it. I'm going to read it word for word. Welcome to the world of Millenia, fellow entities of all coils. Be ye man, woman, child, be ye spirit, creature, demon, be ye native, migrator, or invader. Welcome. I am your host, the Millenian Mailman, and I will be world building for you long after you've begun to acclimate and fit into the realm. So relax, sit back as I get today started for you. Today is Monday, so we'll be doing a Monday video. It was supposed to be a Millennium Monday where I can get into the comment section and answer any questions or comments you have down there. But seeing how right now I'm just making videos for my fellow loyal few of 0 subscribers, 0 likes, and so on and so forth, with 0 comments in the comment section. We're just pushing everything to the side. So instead of it being a testy Tuesday when I start the hot take for the week, I'm gonna just start the hot take for a Monday, and then again, as I said, try to push it and give you guys a Tourism Tuesday instead. So where Tuesday is going to be the break day instead of just being Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the hot take. So since there is no comment section Monday, it'll be the introduction of your hot take today. And then, as I said, just pushing forward throughout the progressively rest of the week here. So this week's hot take. Don't want to get it wrong here. This week's hot take from your devil's advocate from way beyond is that all women are the furthest thing from being queens. Period. All women are the furthest things from being queens. And that's mostly the modern women, as the red pillars would say. But yes, this week's hot take is that all the modern women are the furthest thing from being queens. Period. Right? So here we are, just going to dive right in. And if you find it jarring that I don't look in the camera, I'm not very photogenic. And I am a writer, so I write a lot. So if you find it bothering, try to bear with me if you want to hear the argument. But I'm not going to look into your eyes and your soul from throughout the screen, so I'm sorry if that's what you were hoping for. I don't do it, unfortunately. All women are the furthest things. All modern women are the furthest things from being queens, period. Queens don't get to just remarry. Marriage is an obligation. Queens come from a relationship to a king. So rule number 1 to this topic is that queens, all of them, all official queens, got their status as a queen from their relationship to a king, right? So you can't really call yourself a queen if you don't got a king, right? If you're not in a relationship and you don't have a king to claim, or that is claiming you, you could never, ever be a queen. And that's one take, and the first take of a few here, that addresses the fact that all these modern women are the furthest things from being queens. Because number 1, they don't even got a king. And a queen needs some sort of relationship to a king in order to be a queen. But go forth, just going down the historic route of it anyway. In arranged marriages, the queen is the selected prize for the king from the families to save and grow themselves, right? And this is going down that rabbit hole of how, in order to be more than just the crowned prince and to be given the king status, the king also needs a queen. How long-lived that queen is, or if she gets replaced later on, little fact, but the first queen, there needs to establish the first one. In order for a king to be king, he has to have a queen. be married, have that title and status, and the same difference. There can be no queen without a king, period. Right? Do. But again, in arranged marriages, the queen is the selected prize for the king. So all the modern day ladies out here saying, I'm the prize, I'm the prize, I'm the prize. Sure. In an arranged marriage, you are most certainly the prize. You're not the prize yourself just for being you. You're the prize because your family objectified you in order to have a connection to the king. You were the object of the treaty and the joining of families between the king and whoever you still have left to call you family. So in an arranged marriage, the queen is the prize for the king. The prize being traded off, not of her own autonomy. The prize being traded off, contracted off, signed and traded to the king, has his prize in contractual agreement that we are now one. The queen is the prize, joining the families together. The queen is the sacrificed objectification from the family to the king, right? And then the king is the queen's prize, no matter what, period. To every queen, her man, the king in her life, her partner, her relationship is her prize, no matter what. Because the marriage alone grants that woman access, generally a higher nobility status that she would not otherwise have, a guaranteed form of protection, and a certain level of vengeance like no other at the most minor of inconveniences. I'll dig into that. The king is the queen's prize no matter what. Because once that king marries his queen and calls you queen, in general, the marriage alone is going to give this woman a certain level of authority and access to his kingdom, in his kingdom, to certain privileges here and so forth, as well as certain levels of acknowledgement. That person he married to be his queen now has the ability to look outside the window and say, hey, look at all those peasants. Look down at them through my nostrils as I look up to the sky because they are all beneath me. Not because of anything she did or anything she is outside of being the queen to her king as well. So she's above all but one, and that one is the king. So the king is her prize because her marriage to him gets her that certain level of nobility, that status, and certain levels of access she would otherwise not have. Her marriage to the king grants her protection, as if none of these knights and none of this people in this castle are gonna just feel comfortable in not protecting her if anything goes down. She's gonna also have protection, right? Guaranteed levels of protection just being there, as well as if anything, God forbid, if anything does ever happen to the king's queen, anything at all, doesn't have to be death, but anything like this, let's pick something, one of the most minor of conveniences, like, oh, this handmaid screwed up and we're blaming her because the queen stubbed her toe. The handmaid dropped something and didn't pick it up in less than 10 seconds, and the queen stubbed her toe on that thing she dropped. Off with her head, right? that is a certain level of vengeance that she has access to and the ability to follow through with, or whatever you want to call it, because she is now queen. There's a certain level of vengeance that is justifiable once the queen has entered in this relationship, marital relationship contract with the king. So if you're not getting that from your relationship, no, you're not a queen. If you don't have a relationship at all, no, you're not a queen. If none of these things apply to you or sound familiar, not a queen. Again, all those things apply, because even if the king is the dumbest or most incompetent or impotent of kings you have a choice from. The very authority from the connection breeds those opportunities that would be otherwise inaccessible to any other non-queen, period. So all in all, summary of that first half is that there is, without a king, there is no queen. Without a king, there is no queen. Again, anyone ever saying, need no man, you know that trend that's been going around, need no man, need no man. Any queen, modern women nowadays saying that they need no man, they have no king. They generally don't have a king. Because any queen saying from the bottom of their heart that she needs no man is either widowed or was forcibly excommunicated from her very title and status. Where one side of that would be a widowed queen. A widowed queen might say, need no man, because one, she has her king will figure out everything. A widowed queen grieves her king and dares not move forward in progress till that crown is passed to the next king and his queen. Again, the widowed queen grieves her king and dares move forward in progress till the crown of kingship and queenship is passed on to the next. That's to generally say, like in the case of Queen Elizabeth. I believe there was a phrase where she said she needs not for anyone. She only needs her king. Right? And I forget the interview or whatever the conversation was, but she said she didn't need anyone because the only one she needed was her king. And since her king is dead, even though he's dead, she still has him and all their children, all the things they got and whatnot. So she is plenty satisfied. So she doesn't need for anyone else. Right? And that'll play back later. So, a widowed queen grieves and dares move forward until the crown is passed on. Right? Any queen saying need no man is either a widow or an excommunicado, where a forsaken queen, that forcibly excommunicated queen, a forsaken queen grieves her replacements with jealousy and resentment from the things that she lost, like lost status, the lost authority, the loss of protection. She grieves in fear the realistic fears of impending consequence of her actions during and prior to her queenship, right? And that's to say that there are certain number of things, any number of things, that if a queen who gets kicked off her throne, right? If a queen is being kicked off her throne, say, I'd say like the modern equivalent is when everyone's getting out of these relationships, be it mutual or due to any number of reasons. You get into a relationship, that's your king, that's your queen. Every one of these modern women out here getting out of the relationships, you're excommunicated from the relationship. You're no longer a queen, you're a forsaken queen, and you just have this built up trauma and anger and resentment being built up from jealousy and resentment from the past. That comes, all of that is a part of your grieving process for that person you called king, or that genuine king you had, and your inability to have that relationship or your inability to have that relationship move on any further, right? So that forsaken queen, or the modern generation would say, any broken relationship, women moving on to their next or in between. The forsaken queen is grieving in fear of the realistic impending consequences. They fear lustful nature of her own unprotected beauty. The Forsaken Queen also fears her own capture or ill treatment for her knowledge or lack thereof. They fear and resent opinions of unrestrained dissenters that may now do as they will without punishment or minimal consequence. Right? So the Forsaken Queen really fears for a lot, because without that relationship, that stronghold, that reliable wall, that backing of protection anymore, she's now empty until she finds a new one, right? So the whole concept that women aren't really queens because they dare say these things, when really the Forsaken Queen is just another commoner without that status, that nobility. So everyone out here trying to say, I'm a queen, or women are all queens, you know, that modern day phrasing of the feminist movement, right? Everyone saying this is just in a lack of understanding that even the Forsaken Queen is not really a queen anymore, right? If you're not in a relationship and you don't have a king, you're not a queen. You're not a queen. The only thing that counts is the widowed queen, just like Queen Elizabeth. She held that title like a champ. Like a champ. Everyone else is just a gross imitation. Gross imitation for sure. Alright. Okay, final comments on it. Queens need not, or want for, any power, authority, wealth, status, or labor. And they certainly need not for a man, because they already have it all. All but children. And even then, they do sometimes already have children. So. But I repeat, queens need not and want for not, because they already have power, authority, wealth, status, and labor. Because they already got it. Women, wives, and queens already have. And they do more for what they and their king agree they want next. So if a queen doesn't have it all, she and her king will do more to have more for themselves. They'll make a plan and follow through with that plan for what they want next. Women, wives, and queens. What they don't have, they do more to have next. Only girls, the immature, and princesses have need for more. Only girls, the immature, and princesses have need for more, because they don't do for what they want next, or they just simply can't. Only the girls, the immature, and princesses have need for more, because they can't do for more, or won't. Because wives, women, and queens already have it all that they need, and do more for what they and their king agree they want next. But yep, that's the hot take for the week. All women, all modern women, for certain, are furthest from being queens, period. Because queens don't get to just remarry. The marriage itself is an obligation. And that's it for this Millennium Monday here. I introduced you to the hot take of the week. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. And I'm already over my time limit. Jesus. But yeah. Well, I'm your host, and that's just me. I'm your host, Millenia Mailmen. Like the video if you agree, comment if you don't, share and to expand the discussion out a little more. Again, I do look at all the comments in the comment section just to start that Q&A Monday. But since there aren't, that's fine. Well, yeah, that's just me, your Millennium Mailman. Have a good one. Or don't, I don't care. That's just devil's advocate in me.